Still without internet, y'all. So sorry for I have to do it this way instead of the other way. I'm on my phone and this clamp is crazy, so I have more control with it facing that way. So sorry about the orientation, but that's the way we gotta do stuff around here. So aggravated about the internet. Okay, they had come up to that moat, MOA. Was it Moat House? Yeah. Let me go back and read the last sentence or two. Julius jerked the rusty bell handle. A jangling peal rang discordantly, echoing through the emptiness within. No one came. They rang again and again, but there was no sign of life. Then they walked completely round the house. Everywhere silence and shuttered windows. If they could believe the evidence of their eyes, the place was empty. Nothing doing, said Julius. They retraced their steps slowly to the gate. There must be a village handy, continued the young American. We'd better make inquiries there. They'll know something about the place and whether there's been anyone there lately. Yes, that's not a bad idea. Proceeding up the road, they soon came to a little hamlet. On the outskirts of it, they met a workman swinging his bag of tools, and Tommy stopped him with a question. The moat house? It's empty. Been empty for years. Mrs. Sweeney's got the key if you want to go over it, next to the post office. Tommy thanked him. They soon found the post office, which was also a sweet and general fancy shop, and knocked at the door of the cottage next to it. A clean, wholesome-looking woman opened it. She readily produced the key of the moat house, though I doubt if it's the kind of place to suit you, sir. In a terrible state of repair, ceilings leaking and all. 'Twould need a lot of money spent on it. Thanks, said Tommy cheerily. I dare say it'll be a washout, but houses are scarce nowadays. That they are, declared the woman heartily. My daughter and son-in-law have been looking for a decent cottage for I don't know how long. It's all the war. Upset things terribly, it has. But, excuse me, sir, it'll be too dark for you to see much of the house. Hadn't you better wait until tomorrow? That's all right. We'll have a look around this evening anyway. We'd have been here before, only we lost our way. What's the best place to stay at for the night round here? Mrs. Sweeney looked doubtful. There's the Yorkshire Arms, but it's not much of a place for a gentleman like you. Oh, it'll do very well, thanks. By the way, you've not had a young lady here asking for this key today? That was a question. The woman shook her head. No one's been over the place for a long time. Thanks very much. They retraced their steps to the moat house as the front door swung back on its hinges. Protesting loudly, Julius struck a match and examined the floor carefully. Then he shook his head. I'd swear no one's passed this way. Look at the dust, thick, not a sign of a footmark. They wandered round the deserted house, everywhere the same tale, thick layers of dust apparently undisturbed. This gets me, said Julius. I don't believe Tuppence was ever in this house. She must have been. Julius shook his head without replying. We'll go over it again tomorrow, said Tommy. Perhaps we'll see more in the daylight. On the morrow, they took up the search once more and were reluctantly forced to the conclusion that the house had not been invaded for some considerable time. They might have left the village altogether, but for a fortunate discovery of Tommy's. As they were retracing their steps to the gate, he gave a sudden cry and, stooping, picked something up from among the leaves and held it out to Julius. It was a small gold brooch. It was Tuppence's. Or he said, That's Tuppence's. Are you sure? Absolutely. I've often seen her wear it. Julius drew a deep breath. I guess that settles it. She came as far as here anyway. We'll make that pub our headquarters and raise hell round here till we find her. Somebody must have seen her." Forthwith the campaign began. Tommy and Julius worked separately and together, but the result was the same. Nobody answering to